Hey guys, it's a section of violence here. I'm gonna have a few videos for you guys this week. Starting out, we got PFL 5 now. This has been a fun season. Interested to see how this one plays out. We'll start at the bottom though. We have Brian Zercher versus Julian Ruiz. So the thing with this fight is we don't know truly how good Ruiz is, and Zercher is decently established. He's got pretty solid grappling. He's 8-0 for a reason.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Watching the Ultimate Fighter, the old Ultimate Fighter. He has some decent wins. Not as of late, but his Mike Bardsley win was pretty decent. David Evans win was pretty decent. Scotty Stockman it didn't age as well as I thought it would. Um, so he really hasn't had the most legit, record, but we'll see, man, because Ruiz is good. And honestly, I understand the dog shot in Ruiz, so honestly, this is a pass spot for me personally, but I can understand why people are siding with the dog. Both are relatively unproven, but Zercher has a few more competitive, a few more fights against good guys or decent guys. And I don't know. I have a good feeling about Zercher, and I just think he's gonna win this one. So I'm gonna go with yeah, Ruiz. Not Ruiz, sorry, Zercher. Go with Zercher by decision. Moving on. Andrew Sanchez versus Carl Albrechtsen. Pretty weird fight, because Albrechtsen sometimes can let fights get away from him. He can be dangerous on the feet. He has, let's see, he has one rear naked choke against Carl Moore, which is decent. Can't scoff that, but and he has a win over Victor Nemkov. So he has some decent wins. Dovlet, he has a win over him as well. Andrew Sanchez. The thing with Andrew Sanchez is, damn, no, he lost. He lost a rematch to Carl Moore. Yeah, he lost to Carl Moore. Oh Jesus, yeah, that's not a great loss. Andrew Sanchez is a lot of things. He's sloppy. He's how old now? 36. He fights pretty dumb. Um, he has a split decision win over Taylor Johnson, which is arguable, and Gabriel Checo. So this is a weird fight. I'm gonna lean Carl Albrechtsen with the size and the reach and the striking. I believe he'll have better striking, more durability. I feel like it won't take much to get Andrew Sanchez out of there. We'll see though. This is a very volatile fight. I want really nothing to do with this fight, so I'm gonna pass it on it. But I definitely would lean Albrechtsen here if I had to bet. Moving on, we have Sergio Casio versus Anthony Romero. So Anthony Romero is a fighter that I know very well. Trains at Niagara Top Team. The guy's an absolute machine. A great skill set. Solid jiu-jitsu, solid wrestling, solid striking. Um, I'm not gonna go too much into detail with this fight, honestly, just because this isn't really fair to speak on. But I think Sergio Casio accepts bottom position a little too much. He can be dangerous. He has good cardio. He's faced some decent guys. Um, honestly, I don't think he's as bad as his last showing was, because he got out wrestled by Jesse Roberts, who's a lot more green and basic jiu-jitsu than Anthony Romero. Romero actually has really solid jiu-jitsu, and I think if Sergio can't get a submission, or gas out Romero, I don't think Romero loses this one. I think Romero's a little more technical, or a lot more technical, and he will find either a KO shot or win by decision. Um, I'm gonna go with Romero here. I believe they're fighting for points. I can't remember if they are or not, but I'm definitely gonna side with Romero here. I have a good feeling about him in this spot, and I just think Casio is he's uh he's game, but I just feel like Romero's he's better, and I'm gonna go with Romero. And yeah, moving on, we have Michael Dufour versus Adam Piccolo. Honestly, I got Michael Dufour here. Piccolotti could surprise me here, which is why I decided not to take the plunge on this fight. Piccolotti may be chinny, he may be older, but he's a solid grappler. Um, he beat Nalo, who's in my opinion a more dangerous striker than Dufour. He was winning the fight against Espinosa on the ground. Like honestly, uh, I gotta go with Michael Dufour with a lean. But honestly, this is a pass spot for me. I just don't want to have anything to do with it. I think this is a very volatile fight. I think Dufort, his recency bias deserves his price, but I just think Piccolotti is someone you can't count out quite yet, and I just think Dufort has all the finishing upside, so I'm gonna side with him. But it's not enough for me to get a play down, and I wouldn't not recommend playing Dufort. Dufort should theoretically win this fight, but it doesn't always work out the way I think it's going to work. And Dufort was not looking comfortable in there prior to the finish, so I'm gonna go Michael Dufort. But this one could not cash, and I wouldn't be shocked. But yeah, moving on, we have Gadzi Rabinov versus Alvin Espinosa. So Espinosa, the thing with Espinosa is sometimes he lets fights get away from him. Um, he keeps it a little too close. He clinches well. He does a lot of things very well. Striking's decent. I'd say that's his weakest part, even though he's coming off a KO. Um, I'd say his grappling's his more strong suit. He has pretty solid grappling, solid attack, rear naked chokes. The thing with this fight is Gadzi is Team Khabib. He's a little more high level than the guys that uh, Elvin is face. I think Elvin is gonna get he's gonna get there's levels here, and I think he's gonna find the TKO, or he's going to win a decision against Espinoza. I just think Rabinov has more paths to victory, and he's I believe the more skilled fighter. I could be wrong. Rabinov could get fraud checked here, even though I don't think Espinoza is bad at all. I just think that Rabinov's pretty good, and to beat Rabinov, this is a show me spot for Espinoza, and Espinoza hasn't done anything. So if Rabinov loses, maybe he's not as good as I thought he was. So it's an interesting fight. I'm gonna side with Rabadanov, Rabadanov, and yeah, I'm gonna side with him. I'm gonna go with by decision probably. Yeah, but he's gonna look for a KO. Moving on, we have Sousai versus Tom Breeze. Gotta go Sousai here, but after disappointing me in his last few outings, I gotta go with him by decision because I just don't trust him to get the TKO, even though Breeze will, succumb to strikes very easily. I just think the problem with Sadavu is he's coming off of two finished wins, two finished losses, and I feel like if Tom Breeze, who can't really wrestle, finds him a way on top, I feel like he can find a submission. He's very crafty on the ground, experienced. The problem with Sadavu is he's just he looks to outpoint you on the feet, and then he has pretty solid takedown defense. But once he gets taken down, it's not the greatest because his jiu-jitsu isn't great. And yeah, I just think Sai is the side though because Tom Breeze, you just can't trust them when it comes to fighting strikers. Um, and guys with decent takedown defense. So I'm gonna go with Sai here. It's a pretty square fight. Bearing any freak injury again, I feel like Sai should win this one. But after last one, I had no interest in playing him because you never know. But I wouldn't. But if you wanted to tell me you're playing Sai, I would not say that's a bad thing because he should win this one. Moving on, we have Brent Primus versus Solomon Renfro. Solomon Renfro is a pretty hard to read fighter. He has solid KO power, pretty solid takedown defense, and pretty good experience for only being 16 fights in. He's faced the who's who: Mike Malott, Ghazi Rabinov, Magomed Karamov. He's beat guys like Jara Hussein Al Salani. Um, you know, the thing with him though is sometimes he does again let fights get away from him. The guy, like, if you put out a lot of volume, he's not going to be the type to land a lot of volume. He's going to be the type of guy to look to land the big shot, which he could land against Primus here. But I just think Primus is going to just control time, win a decision. I think he has very, very good grappling. He's 39, which is my big concern here. But I do think Primus probably wins this one. I'm torn on this one because I do think the age could be a big factor here with how athletic and strong and experienced now Renfro is. I think Renfro is a dog side for sure. I'm definitely probably going to do dog or pass here, but I just think Primus probably wins it, and his annoying grappling style is very, very hard to deal with. So wrestle jitsu is just a hard style to deal with, and I feel like he's going to win this one, but I'm gonna probably take the value side and run for. We'll see. This is a weird fight. Moving on, we have Anthony Shoeface Carlos Jr. versus Alex Polizzi. Polizzi's a bum. I'm not gonna be, nice about it. He is not very good. His wrestling is his best part of his game. His striking is awful. His jiu-jitsu is pretty meh. It's like he doesn't really get submitted, which is the main reason why I'm like considering picking him. This is a styles fight, and I do think Polizzi is stylistically a hard fight for Carlos Jr. because he can wrestle and he's not going to get submitted very easily. I feel Polizzi is live here for sure, but I'm going to go with Carlos Jr. because probably Polizzi is going to try to offensively grapple here, and I mean, if he's smart, he won't, but I can see him just shooting takedowns. And I can see Shoeface getting a submission off of a failed takedown. But you never know with this fight. I don't want to touch this fight. This is a very volatile fight, parlaying wise and just betting on. Polizzi's coming off a pretty bad KO loss, and Shoeface is, you know, he's not always reliable, but especially in a fight where it's stylistically a little more tricky. So I'm gonna go with Shoeface here, but definitely not playing at this price for sure. Moving on, we have Davlet Yagshimuradov versus Simon Biong. So Simon Biong, he's a he's an interesting character. He's got decent power, decent ground and pound, one on top. He's mid. He has a really good win that's aging well over Mr. Luke Trainer, and he has some decent ground and pound. But for the most part, man, he is pretty mid. You got subbed by Shoeface, beat by Jose Augusto pretty dominantly. Christian Edwards beat him pretty dominantly. Like he has some pretty bad losses. He's just very, very athletic, very, very strong. Like it's a pretty weird fight. Another fight that I don't really have any interest in playing. I mean, Shag Shimurdov should win, but it's not a fight I'm interested in betting on. I do not think he's reliable, Dablet, and I don't think Simon is someone you want to bet on or against. He's a weird fighter. He's just somewhat squirmy. He uses weird strength get ups to get up, and it's just I honestly I gotta go with Dablet here, but I don't like the price, and it's an ugly fight, so I'm not gonna touch it. Honestly, moving on, we have Rob Wilkinson versus Josh Silveira. I just disliked how Josh Silveira's career has gone. He's very, very fluky. He has decent head kicks. That's how I got to know him. His head kicks. His last win was a fluke. And then he can be dangerous on the feet. Decent jiu-jitsu, but for the most part, his wrestling is a bit overrated. His grappling is a bit overrated. His striking is very mid. Um, and I think Rob Wilkinson is a little bit levels above everywhere. It's gonna be a weird fight though because they're both kind of similar, except Rob's a little more pressure forward, uh, punches more like he punches makes more combos happen, whereas Silvera's one offs. I really think Wilkinson wins this fight, but it's not a fight again that I'm interested in betting on at chalk. I just think Silvera can make this a really greasy, sweaty fight, And I'm going to go with Wilkinson here, but I'm going to go with Wilkinson by decision because Silveira is a very tough nut to crack. So if he does get Silveira out of there early, I'll be very surprised. But yeah, man, this is a fight that at this price I want no interest. No, I have no interest in, but I would understand why people are still betting on Wilkinson. So we'll see how it plays out. Moving on, we have Patricky Pitbull versus Bruno Miranda. Now, again, I have tried to back Miranda a few times now, and I guess I'm gonna have to make it a third because stylistically, this should be a fight he wins. He loses against grapplers, I've learned, but against guys like Patricky Pitbull, who, in my opinion, is on the downswing of his career, 38 years old. Got TKO'd standing against Clay Collard in his last fight. I'm surprised he didn't get finished by Shabli. Basically, almost dead though. He's a very nasty customer, so definitely don't count him out. But I just think Bruno Miranda is more technically sound. He's faster, more explosive at this point in his career. And on the feet, it's going to be a pretty one-way show. If Patricky mixes in his grappling, I feel like it's just going to gas him out, being 38. So I'm going to go with Miranda as a slight lean, but I would not be shocked to see a Patricky Pitbull greasy decision. So be very, very careful with playing this too big, but I do think Miranda wins this quite comfortably. And if he doesn't, then he is on the fade list, or not the fade list, the red flag list, because he is a very skilled fighter. He's just had lacking in the grappling department. Anyways, moving on, we have Jacob Neto versus Impa Kasangane, and this is another example of a fight where the value is off, where Neto has all the value and Impa should win, but I hate the price because Impa, if he doesn't get a KO like Davlet did against Nadeau, he could be the one getting KO'd. Like he's been chinned before, and Nadeau can crack at a heavyweight class like 205. Honestly, I want no part of this fight. I think either way, someone's getting KO'd, and definitely don't want to bet on it because it's volatile. And Impa is maybe proven to be improved, but Nadeau has won the European title for a reason. And despite his last showing, I do think he could be very dangerous here. I'm going to go Impa winning this just because of how bad he looked. Jacob looked his last performance. But honestly, I could see Neto pulling the upset with a KO. So be careful in this one. Moving on, we have Clay Collard versus Mads Burnell. I waited to post this video just because, man, like Mads Burnell looked great at the weigh-ins, and that's not good. I think Clay Collard wins, but it's not an easy fight. It's because Mads Burnell does exactly, or Clay Collard does what Mads Burnell does, but better in less head movement. Um, I just think Collard's more of a dog, and when things get tough, I think I could trust him more. It's definitely a closer fight than the odds are making it seem. So I'm not touching this fight, but I do think Clay Collard probably wins this fight. I'm gonna look for live opportunities on this card because honestly, this could become a coin flip. Um, After the first round, this could be very close. So I'll look for live betting opportunities with this card. It's a very good card. I'm interested to see what happens. If I can give you guys my top five most confident picks, let me see here. So number one, uh, I would have to say Zercher, but it's close. I guess there's not really a lock of the card with this one. And then I would say Kasangane, number two. Number three, we'd have Romero. Number four, we'd have I'd say Rabinov. Number five, I think four. I already said that. If not five, Shoeface. Alrighty, guys. Like, subscribe. You know the drill. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.